So good afternoon. I'm standing between the lunch and the last topic, I guess, before lunch. Talking about a subject which is not my core area, so I chose to make some notes. I basically represent, I'm co-founder CEO of SecureTech. SecureTech is a 4-year-old toddler startup in the area of cybersecurity. We've launched a company with an aim to build India's largest security company. We have about 230 people. Work with enterprises, hence my question to Avinash was an awesome presentation that he did, trying to figure out if I could invite some of the learnings that came out of the session. The question I had, or the subject I'm talking about is the innovation ecosystems. And I did a lot of thinking around what I saw as my journey, 4 years in startup. I was part of the corporate life for a very long time, 20 plus years in the corporate life. I spent some time in the US, about 10 plus years, working for large multinationals. And one thing that is always there in multinationals is structure, support, ecosystem that makes you successful in the journey that you set up for yourself. Right? So whether you work for a Wipro or an IBM or an NTT Data, which is what I work for, it sometimes is, the success is given because the brand and the name that comes behind you, right? So it's the whole ecosystem that supports the organization. Come to a startup world, you are left to fend for yourself. And it is each one has its own journey. I don't know what Avinash's journey is like as leaving Deloitte and coming to play to work. I forget the name of the company that he was part of. I, my own journey, have seen some things that I kind of put as a set of points that I wanted to share with you. The essential assumption in a startup ecosystem is that you give startups money and you give them your idea and the money and the startup works. And for most part, that's the assumption with which how the angel ecosystem, the VC ecosystem is kind of set up. Is that the only thing that a startup needs? I kind of beg to differ. And I've kind of gone back, I spent some time in Canada, I spent some time in China, I spent some time in Tel Aviv and in Bangalore looking at the startup ecosystem and kind of seeing the best of what has happened there. I kind of thought I'll put together some thoughts that could be imbibed as a process that we could all take back as a country and see how India could match some of the best and the brightest in the market. So if you look at it, I call it a philosophy of 9 M's. So there are hard structural things that a startup needs. You need money, obviously. You need mobility, which is really transport and market. Right? So mobility, it could be telecom, logistics, so on and so forth. Money, obviously you need, and then you need market. These three are the first construct of a startup. You need to have a market that someone is willing to buy, you need to have money for the idea, and then you need to have the infrastructure to be able to deliver the idea. Come to the soft aspects. The most soft aspect of this manpower. Right? You need people, you need talent to be able to convert that idea into something that the market will consume. Right? You need mentorship. Startups, entrepreneurs have great ideas, but they lack in several elements that make an essential startup for you. Talk about motivation. You need to have something that excites the organization, the people to be able to go out and start something of their own. And then the influencers, the ecosystem that supports it. So this would be first thing like matters of state, which is like the government. Things around policy, frameworks, process that allows the startup to work and sustain itself. You need some kind of matchmaker, a concept that allows the various components of the ecosystem to come together and deliver something for the startup. Right? And then the last part is the macroeconomy that ensures that the startup survives in the economy that's supposed to. If you look at these 9 parameters, and if I was to take two examples, so if you look at Silicon Valley, has probably most of these existing in terms of the ability with capital, with talent, with ideas, with successful startups, motivation, a lot of them going. And everyone wants to aspire to be the next Silicon Valley. But let's look at 2 others which have in the recent past completely changed the startup ecosystem. Look at Tel Aviv and look at Beijing. Right? I spent a good week, 10 days in Tel Aviv early last year. And one thing that kind of surprised me is the way they had an organized approach to a startup ecosystem. So I walked into Tel Aviv University and I had an opportunity to meet a very senior person, a former president of National Semiconductors, a very large organization of the US. He spent about 30 years in the industry, came back and working with the government of Israel, set up a structured organization with a charter to help ideas come to fruition. And the way they went about doing it is that they would go out to the universities, they will ask the professors and students to pitch ideas. A structured approach where you will ask someone to come and present a set of ideas to them. They'll go through an evaluation process. If an idea is worth looking at it, something that has a tangible outcome that can impact the economy, it not just be the Israeli economy, but the global economy, they will give an initial seed funding of up to $100,000. Until very recently, the government of Israel used to match dollar for dollar. So they'll get 50, they'll get 50, and about $100,000 what you get. The idea is in 6 months to convert the idea into something that is a tangible outcome.